Fang and Molly's Bubbly Bath Time. Fang the cat was a tubby black cat with feet as white as snow. His best friend in the whole world was a little girl named Molly. She named him Fang because one of his fangs was longer than the other, and it could always be seen. Wherever little Molly went, Fang would follow. If she ate, he would eat. If she slept, he would sleep. And if she was sad, he would weep. When Molly went to school, Fang would sit by the window all day and wait to see her again. As soon as Molly came home, Fang would rub his little soft nose against hers, and then they would play lots of fun games. Sometimes she would even dress him up in little clothes and have a tea party. Fang didn't mind, because he loved her so. He would tickle Molly's nose with his tail, and she would giggle and giggle. Molly would tickle his fluffy, tubby belly, and he would purr and purr. One evening, Molly was reading Fang a bedtime story. Suddenly, they heard the sound of running water. Fang and Molly looked at each other with big, wide eyes and dived under the bed. It was bath time, and they were both afraid of water. Ever since Molly saw that Fang was afraid of water, she became afraid too. They always hid beneath Molly's bed when it was bath time, but Mammy would always find them. The two friends stared at one another in silence as Molly's bedroom door slowly crept open. "Molly, it's time for a bath," Mammy called. When Mammy found her, Molly would always get really upset, and she would cry and cry. Fang would stay hidden under the bed until she returned. As Molly was carried out of the bedroom, Fang listened to his best friend crying, and it made him very sad. Fang didn't want Molly to cry anymore, so he decided that he was going to face his fear of water. Fang knew that if Molly saw that he wasn't afraid anymore, then she wouldn't be either. The next day, while Molly was in school, Fang went into the kitchen. He took one little egg cup and filled it with water. He gathered his courage, squeezed his little eyes shut, and slowly dipped his paw into the cup. He opened one eye, then the other, and gave a little smile. On the second day, he went into the kitchen again, but this time he filled a bowl with water. Just like before, he closed his eyes tight, but this time it was 2 paws that he carefully placed into the water. He opened one eye, then the other, and gave a big smile. On the third day, he didn't go into the kitchen. This time, he went into the garden. Fang found a big old bucket and filled it with warm water, so it wasn't too cold. He placed the bucket beside the garden bench and hopped up onto the seat. This was the final test, and his little legs began to wobbly like jelly. Again, he squeezed his eyes tight, but this time he thought about Molly crying. Fang knew he had to be brave for her. Crouching down low, he leapt up high into the air. Splash! Fang went into the bucket and under the water. 2 pointy ears slowly appeared out from the water, and a wet, furry head soon followed. Fang's eyes were still tightly closed. Slowly he opened one eye, then the other, and the biggest smile grew upon his face. Fang had faced his fear, and now he wasn't afraid any more. The next evening, Molly and Fang were playing in her bedroom when they heard Mammy shout. "Molly, it's time for a bath," she called. Molly quickly dived under the bed, but to her surprise, her furry friend was not beside her. Mammy opened the door and Fang ran past her. "Where are you going, Fang?" Mammy asked. Peeping under the bed, Mammy found Molly looking for Fang. "Come on, Princess, it's time for a bath," she said. Mammy took a deep breath to prepare for Molly's reaction. As always, Molly began to get upset. "Where's Fang?" she cried. "Don't worry, he's probably just gone for something to eat," Mammy replied. Mammy picked her up and carried her into the bathroom. Molly was still crying and calling out for Fang. "What's that?" asked Mammy. Molly stopped crying and had a look. In the bathtub, beneath the bubbles and under the water, there was something black. Whoosh! Out from the water popped Fang, splashing Mammy and Molly. They both burst out in laughter as Fang played with the bubbles. "Mammy, put me down," Molly said. She slowly walked over to the bathtub and whispered, "Fang, if you're not afraid any more, then I'm not either." Fang smiled at Molly and she smiled back. Splash! In Molly jumped. Bubbles flew everywhere, and the two friends had so much fun. From then on, getting Molly into the bath was easy. Getting her out was the hard part. The end.